Hey MVPs, RicoKnows here. Going to talk to you guys about Week 3 results for college football. It's right here on the screen now. I'm only going to go over the MVP results. If you want to know about the results from every single game in college football for Week 3, all you have to do is watch the podcast because I go over every single conference at 5 p.m. Eastern every single day on YouTube, right? So you go to YouTube, click the live stream, or click on the live tab on my page. You will see all the different episodes. I'll be going over every single game and then giving my predictions for the following week. But if we can just look back at Week 3 here for the MVPs, the locks go 12-9 over the course of the week. Going into the weekend, we were 1-2. So on Saturday itself, went 11-7. If you're going 11-7 on a Saturday, you should be green. Now, if you weren't green yesterday, you probably need to adjust the way you approach gambling, if I'm being real. I have 7 misses. There's no reason for you to have 7 misses. You don't have to take all the losses. You don't. You can avoid the misses. And that's what a lot of MVPs are good at. I watched a young man take everything I said, and he parlayed $12 into $1,000. Now, I don't know how many different parlays he made. I don't know. I'm not a big advocate for parlays. But if you bet straight across 1 unit on every one of these predictions, you should be green. And I talked to you guys about this after Week 1 when I was 68%. And I said, hey, if you weren't green this weekend, you're never going to be green. And there was many people not green because they over parlay things. They add player props into it and things of this nature. And I can show you the player props chart. And when you see the player props chart, some of you guys might go, oh, my God, he doesn't know what he's doing. No, I do know what I'm doing. Pay attention. The locks, or my best bets over here, have a much more green landscape than value bets over here. And this is what many of you guys are doing. This is what many of you guys are doing. You guys are doing plus 300s, plus 400 value bets. And when you do these, no matter how good you are, and I'm trying my best to hit them, you're still going to end up around 30% or less than 30% when you're doing parlays like this. So it might feel good to hit a parlay. Rico, I just flipped all this money. But in reality, if you were over here and pacing yourself and avoiding some of these landmines, if you will, and we just had some bad beats and we'll talk about it, but you can get to a lot closer to 50% or above 50% on any given week. But when you see this, you got to find a way to win. Now, I know some people miss early, and they quit being an MVP after missing early when you could have cleaned house on the late night. We would have gotten 6 in a row right, but Kentucky lays an egg, and that's fine. If somebody says, well, Rico, I told you that game will be close. I'm sorry, Georgia. That game will be close because Georgia's playing a rival. Well, then skip it. Or take Kentucky if you have the courage. And that's the point, is some MVPs are better than others if you avoid the landmines and the reds. I talked to you guys about certain games being on the page, and I tell you things like this is an experiment. This is just me trying to figure out whether or not my assessments are right on talent. So I put it on the chart. Teams like Rice, you don't have to bet that shit. So I have a miss there. You don't have to have that miss. We know that that's just me putting out stats if you watch the videos. If you just get the chart and you try to blind tail the chart, you're probably not even watching this video right now. You probably don't care about your money. You're just walking around saying Rico doesn't know, Rico doesn't know. And what I do know is that my talent chart predictions that I did in the preseason are sitting at 70%, 21 out of 30 on just straight money line. I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's some gangster shit right there, where I'm from. And I'm telling you, when I pick underdogs to win the game, money line, we're sitting at 63%. There's no way to go negative. We went 4-4 this week on underdogs. If you put 1 unit on each of these, you're in the positive because everybody's a plus 100. The exception of these damn knuckleheads are minus 104 and 106. It doesn't really matter, though. You'd still be up because of the 168 from Memphis, whatever you got it at. I can't coach you through it. I can't sit here and tell you how many units to put on this and do this. I'm just explaining to you that there are MVPs going green, and if you're not one of them, it's because you're in love with a prop. It's because you're in love with parlays and all this stuff. The information is A1. Like the analysis, you can't tell me the analysis is wrong. You just can't. I won't even accept that. Okay? So we'll talk about the results, and then if you are still losing, you need to adjust your strategy. I'm going to keep doing what I do. I really, really trust my analysis. Like, I'm not even worried about the fact that I'm sitting at 57% on the season right now. We ticked up just a little bit. We were in the low 57s. Now we're almost at 58% now. I'm not worried about it. I know I got all these weeks to get it right. I know exactly what I'm doing. So shout out to the guy on the Discord server this morning when I wake up, and he says, your picks were shit, but I'm riding with you. Right here. This guy says, your picks were ass, but I'm still riding. Well, first and foremost, no, your picks were ass. My analysis is what people are paying for. That's reality. I don't think this is ass at all last night. Last night I went to bed feeling pretty good. 6-5 on leans, 12-9 on locks. I felt really good about that. You might not have. Let me tell you guys the difference. We had UFC last night, UFC Noche, and went 5-5 on the card. Went 2-2 on prop bets and parlays. Literally even 500 across the board. Woke up to zero hatred from anybody. Zero, you don't know what you're doing. Your picks were ass last night. None of this. We understand, and the UFC MMA MVPs understand, hey man, fighting's a different animal. We got a plus 200 correct. Do you know how we got a plus 100 correct? We had 2 value bets right last night. Some people only bet the value bets. You see anything black, those are coin flips. You can't get those right. We get those right 60% of the time, exactly 60% of the time across 125 fights. So when you have a bad night and you think, oh, Rico doesn't know what he's doing, he's had a bad week or he made a bad pick. Bro, this is across 400 fights. This is across like 400 football games. By the end of the season, we're going to have over 400 football games. I'm going to be right a certain amount of time every single time. You're going to be wrong. You're on the wrong side of history in this regard. And I'm not too worried about it. I really am not. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being MVPs. But let's talk about it. Look at K5. K5 put $50 and won 1,200. He just put it in the chat right now. I'm recording this for YouTube. I'm recording this for the public. I'm recording this for TikTok, Patreon, whatever. But I just saw K5. He just put it in the chat. And K5 is letting you know. He says, Unc got me to the bag in Rico We Trust. And what did he pick? Everything I talked about. He picked the right ones. You didn't. Now, I'm not an advocate for parlays, but if you want to pick them right, get them right. I don't think he's worried about it. I know I'm not worried about missing. It's just not a part of shoot or shoot, man. Shoot or shoot. And when you miss, there's a different culture in the UFC versus college football. You guys who are missing in college football and then blaming me for it, I want to know what you did before you met me. I want to know if you missed before you met me. I'm 100% sure that you're missing much worse when you're alone. So, first and foremost, LSU, South Carolina. Yes, South Carolina comes out and plays inspired football. It looks like Lenora Sellers is getting better every single week, so that's problematic for us. And LSU, on the flip side, their defense is porous. It didn't come through. I figured they would outscore and outclass South Carolina. Now, we had a key injury that helped us in this game. That was great. But if South Carolina makes that field goal, then we have a much better chance to cover the spread in overtime or at least by a touchdown. It doesn't happen. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Misses happen. It happens. So we were on LSU and we missed. It was a late addition to the chart. I told you guys, I think what I said during the pre-video was 70% of the time, I can take a favorite or a brand that's only getting 6.5 and they'll cover that spread. They do this often. They give the brand 6.5 and say they're the favorite. Down here, they did it with Kansas, 6.5 to beat UNLV. They give brands 6.5. That's what they do, and you have to pick the right one. It's almost equivalent to those lean coin flips of a UFC fight. This is 2 brands fighting each other, and it's just a coin flip, and you got to get it right. But the way the books stack it is, they make sure they give themselves 6.5 points of error. Right? And you have none. So what I'm trying to say here is congratulations to South Carolina for covering the spread. Obviously, it's a miss, and we just keep it moving. Central Michigan, Illinois covered the spread. It's not always easy, but it happened. Congratulations on the hit. South Carolina, Temple. South Carolina comes out, scores 21 points in the first 3 series or something like that, and then they just shut it down. And then Temple becomes competitive and gets back in this game, and it's a miss. You live with it. West Virginia, Pitt. Do I have to tell you? We had this one. West Virginia covered the spread, was winning the game. They were the better team until 45 seconds left. They couldn't stop Pittsburgh from driving 80 yards down the field. That's just unfortunate. I would never bet on Pitt in their second half comeback against Cincy and this last minute comeback on down the road like this. I understand everybody keeps talking about Pitt. Guys, I have a futures video where I talk about Pitt, and I tell you Pitt's winning more than 6 games this year. Shout out to Pat Narduzzi. I just felt like they were going to get it done. I didn't think they were going to win this game. Bad beat. That's what happens. Bad beat. Bad beat here. One of my few losses on the actual talent chart. Bad beat. You just have to live with it. You have to live with it. As a matter of fact, I only have 2 misses from Saturday when picking money line, when telling you guys which teams are going to win. I only have 2. Think about that. I put this whole chart out. The Arizona K-State one is from Friday. There's only 2, and one of them was a bad beat. One of them is a complete misread, right? Or just there's too much faith in FIU's offense. That's a whole other conversation. But we would have just clean sweep the whole board. Nobody's doing that. Anyways, Ball State, Miami, 100% correct. We covered that. Prairie View, Michigan State, we win 40-0. That hurts my soul. It hurts my soul. We can't get it done. Michigan State had to settle for field goals on 2 back-to-back drives. Just fumbles the bag and doesn't get it. Prairie View's terrible. Had the right read. 40 points. Just missed it by half. And that, look at that. Back-to-back misses here. Rico doesn't know what he's talking about. He's missing. His picks are ass. His picks are ass. He picked a team to lose in the last 40 seconds, and he picked another team that only won by 40 and not 40 and a half. His picks are ass. Georgia Tech told you they would walk right through VMI. Whoa, it's not UMI. It's VMI. Whew. I did some research that morning, added these to the chart that morning. I added this to the chart Saturday morning, by the way. Knew they would walk through them after looking over VMI. App State to ECU. I told you App State's the better team. It was a hell of a sweat, but we got it right, and that's what I'm talking about. When I get it right, no complaints, right? But if I miss, Rico doesn't know what he's talking about. It's crazy. UAB, Arkansas. There's just no way you can sit here and tell me you knew UAB was going to cover this spread after the performances of these teams this season. This is the no rhyme or reason. Why are you doing what you're doing? Like, why do you look this way? It's fucking terrible, right? But don't get mad at me. Be mad at Arkansas. Be mad at Arkansas on the way they performed. 24 points. They barely won the damn game. Toledo, Mississippi State. I almost missed on this under. Obviously, we got it at 59. The under's there. I also talked about it in the video. I really like Toledo to cover the spread. Now, I didn't add it to my record. I'm not counting it. But I'm telling you that this is what I said verbally in the video, and I couldn't even find this listing. For whatever reason, when I was looking at the chart, I did not see. I was looking for under in this column. I was like, I don't see an under here. Oh, damn, I meant to add it to the chart. It was on the chart. But I also really, really like Toledo to cover the spread against Mississippi State. I didn't believe them. And, complete domination. Ole Miss got it right. Bethune-Cookman, Western Michigan. Western Michigan scored over 60-something points. That should have been enough to cover this spread, like I anticipated them doing. Unfortunately, they gave up 30-something points, and they don't cover the spread. They only win by like 28. It's embarrassing. Had the right read, just didn't get it done. Bethune-Cookman cannot stop anything. Put up 60, you should cover that spread, and we didn't. This was the laughable one of the day. When people ask me what's your most confident bet on the chart, I think the one thing I wrote to everybody on Discord was South Florida at Southern Miss. I felt like this was completely wrong. I don't understand why Vegas had any faith in Southern Miss, and we covered that spread by 20 or something like that. Indiana, UCLA. I've been screaming all offseason about Indiana winning 8 games. I told you they're a better team than UCLA. There was no denying it, and that's where we're at. UTSA, Texas, laughable. Once again, that was a Monday line that I put on there. Texas is the best team in America, hands down. The only miss of the night, it happens. Kentucky came to play, and that's another thing, right? So even though we get it wrong, because of Kentucky's performance against South Carolina the week before, if you watched me all offseason, all I talked about was Kentucky's defense and how it is one of the very best. For me, I evaluate it as the second best defense in America. And it wasn't about units. It was about the talent of the defense. The talent is amazing. Well, they come to show up against Georgia at home in a rivalry game, and they prove exactly what I've been talking about. I feel good about that. Unfortunately, we pick them in the wrong week to be competitive with a certain team, right? So that sucks. And that's unfortunate, and it hurts. But at the same time, I'm sitting over going, I had some validation in the sense that I know Kentucky's defense is good. We miss. Tennessee at Kent State, we don't miss at all. completely easy. And then I added Baylor to Air Force on Saturday morning, and that's from analysis of the two teams. And I knew Baylor would win this game big, and they covered it. They won by like 30, so that was great. So all in all, it was a really good Saturday. Only a couple of bad beats and a couple misses here and there. You go to La Tech, NC State, I vividly told you guys, verbatim, I don't believe in NC State. I'm taking them off the locks list, moving them to the leans. This might be a clue for you to not bet the game at all. So when I see MVPs missing on the bet, I'm like, man, I just told you, we don't know how good NC State is. They couldn't even cover the spread against Western Carolina. And they're playing La Tech with a new starting quarterback. I can't believe in La Tech like that. That would be irresponsible of me. But I'm just telling you that I'm going to leave it on here, but I wouldn't bet that. It's a game on the chart, but I wouldn't bet that. That's like, people need to watch the videos and not blind tail a chart. Memphis, Florida State, this was as good as a lock. But you don't put it on the lock because that's irresponsible as well. But I'm telling you money line. I'm literally over here telling you money line. And I've been screaming Memphis for fucking 9 months. That Memphis was going to win this game. I've been talking about it for 9 months. So forgive the fatigue. But when it comes to week 3, every MVP in this damn hemisphere should have been betting Memphis money line. I didn't go into detail about it because I was over it. I've talked about it for months. It's been in at least a dozen videos. If you're an MVP for the entire offseason, you know this. If you're new, you thought it was just me talking and you just ignored it and you didn't make the bet. I have nothing to say to you, bro. I don't. If you go and check the props chart, I have Memphis winning at the half. I have Seth Hennigan props. Like, when you go check a props chart and you start seeing multiple entries from one game, that should tell you I care about that game more than any other game. When you see multiple entries from a game, if you only see one entry, North Carolina Central and UNC, you only see it once with no props, it's not the same, bro. Like, you guys got to learn how to read the room. I'm all over Memphis. I have been. They've been one of my playoff teams from the group of 5. Them, Texas State, South Florida. Like, what are we doing? I'm just disgusted by the people who didn't bet on Memphis. If you're an MVP and you didn't bet on Memphis, you're not a real MVP. Like, you don't really rock with me. Cincinnati, I told you they're better than Miami of Ohio. I actually had them money line. So I didn't believe in the 2.5. I just said take a money line. I don't care. Right? Utah State. Utah is Iowa without Cam Rising. They're just not any good. They can't score at will. And on the flip side, Utah State playing inspired football at home. This is a team that just got blanked by USC. So now everybody who talks about Utah's defense needs to understand how good USC's defense is. USC just shut out Utah State 45-0. I know. I'm doing MMA math. FIU, complete miss, misread, miss, and everything. I own it. It's a miss. It happens. Virginia Tech, ODU, got it done. Congratulations. Kennesaw State, San Jose State is a bad beat. Bad beat. We had it covered. We were covered at 19.5, and then they score a touchdown with, I think, a minute left on the clock. Something like that. In the last 2 minutes for sure. So we miss. And now it's Rico doesn't know. But that's a bad beat. Gardner-Webb, Charlotte. I'm so proud of this pick for myself. Charlotte was a favorite at the beginning of the week by 8.5. And then once they got a new starting quarterback, they shot it up to 14. And I said, bullshit. Gardner-Webb's really good. They played JMU really tight. And Gardner-Webb almost won this game. They lose because they went for 2 on a 2-point conversion. But we still picked it great. I still covered it. The fact that you guys didn't bet it is crazy when I tell you I just added it to the chart because I did analysis on Charlotte and Gardner-Webb. If I'm telling you I just added it this morning, I really believe in it. Vandy, Georgia State. Vandy shits the bed. It's a terrible bad beat. They shit the bed. They weren't going to cover the spread anyways, but the money line is a bad beat, and I'm going to tell you guys why, and it's going to blow your mind. But if you go look at the props chart and you look at the very top of the props chart, I had an 8-leg money line parlay here for plus 106. Easiest flip of your unit to start the morning, and a lot of MVPs bet this. Flip their unit. Congratulations. It was just an easy bet to make. Then there was the late night slate. We got all these right, and it was a plus 170. What happens is, for whatever reason, if you're on the East Coast or Middle America, you guys just don't make this bet for the nighttime games. You guys just forget about it. You guys don't bet on the nighttime slate where we're cleaning fucking house. I don't know why. You guys just go there, just say, I'm going to quit being an MVP. This guy know what he's doing. I missed at noon. I missed at 3. I missed at 4. I missed at 5. It's all Rico's fault. And you don't go make this bet. And then here we have the 22-leg parlay. Money line. Plus 1,192. And the only miss on this 22-leg parlay was Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt getting scored on with fucking 40 seconds left. That's what missed for us. Vanderbilt made me miss a plus 1,192, and that's going to happen, and that's heartbreak. That hurts. Me personally, I had $1,000 on Vanderbilt to win their third game. I need them to win a third game. Now we only got one more chance against Ball State. So I really need Vanderbilt to win. And them losing to Georgia State hurts. So I'm a little bummed out as well because I could have won a lot of money. That for me, $1,000 is 10 units. I don't bet a whole lot. But man, that's how close we are. Okay. Rico doesn't know what he's doing. Vanderbilt gets beat. BYU totally dominates Wyoming. Wyoming can't score. BYU's got great defense. Eventually, the dam breaks and they do their damn thing. And then I told you, New Mexico's going to cover this spread against Auburn. I like it at 28. I don't like it any lower. It was 28 at the beginning of the week. I liked it there. I think it ended up at 26. You got to pay attention. Follow the channel throughout the week. Some of you guys are so busy with, work. You say you're too busy with work. Well, then don't bet. If you can't watch the video, get the analysis all week. Don't fucking bet that week. There's 400 games that I'm going to give you analysis on throughout the season. Skip one. Skip 20. I don't care. But don't lose your money trying to blind tail a chart when I talk to you about it. Oh, yeah, thank you so much for the reminder, Gary Clark. The Utah won by 17. I missed it by half a point. And guys, we're positive. We're above 50%, and we have bad beats in here. 1, 2 bad beats in here. That shit could have been 8-3. On top of the world, 2 bad beats. Over here, bad beat, bad beat, bad beat. 3 bad beats. 15-6. That's life. All in all, 5 bad beats, and you want me to think I did something wrong? But nobody wants to hear about bad beats. They want to hear about results. Money line. Told you all these teams are going to win, and they did. Congratulations to me. Underdogs. I told you. Bet on Memphis. Bet on Memphis. Bet on Memphis. Told you EMU is going to get it done. Money line. UCF. And then I see what you guys did here. Some people parlayed them all. And then they missed. Because you guys are idiots. Straight across bets, I'm hitting at 63%. Just go straight across. You're going to hit 2 out of 3. Underdogs. It's fucking wild. All right, so let's talk about it. Try to do a trend here, and I'm really encouraged by it. We're getting more green over here. If you bet every single one of these and bet a unit on every single one of these, I think you're in positive money. Maybe. It's close because everything's plus value. But remember, I try to get it to 100 as close as possible. So you might be in negative money. And some of it, like I said, bad beats. It's unfortunate that, I'll give you an example. Kent State, Tennessee. All we need is Tennessee to win by 42.5. That definitely happened. But then I don't need them to score over 70, and they scored over 70. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to predict that a team's going to score more than 70 points. Good luck. Good luck if you're making bets like that. But all in all, I hope you guys read the chart. I hope you guys go back and look it over. Here's what I can tell you. Weekday game props. Weekday games. These were the weekday games. Much more accurate because the books allow me to dig deeper on weekday games. They give you more options and more plays. We can take overs and unders and different things. And I have 8 hours at minimum to analyze one particular matchup for the weekday. That's why we do so well on weekday games, on the props. Weekend, I have to analyze 70 games. I do it in about 2 days, 2 to 3 days. This week I did for 3 days. I'm really proud of what we did. And you just have to be careful, man. Look, if you're doing the value bets, this is where you do all your betting. Oh my God, I'm going to do this leg and this leg and this leg and this leg. I'm trying to show you mathematically, I'm only hitting at 30%, 28%. And I'm going to tell you that, yes, hitting those feels good. But you got to pick and choose, and it's daunting. I see some of you guys parlay this shit. I see a parlay on a parlay on a parlay. There's no way you're hitting. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. If it reminds me of the casino and playing on a slot machine, you guys just sitting there just hoping to hit, and you look around and, well, that guy just won 10,000, and that guy just did this, and that guy just, bro, slow down, get to the poker table, get to the blackjack, and win one hand, and flip your unit this way. All right? Well, I'm going to talk about every single result of every single game on the weekdays in the podcast. Like I just said, I will be doing an early video tomorrow. I won't do it today because the sportsbooks don't have the group of 5 games even posted, so it's just double the work if I do the model, or if I do the early video. So I'm not going to do that. But congratulations to the MVPs that are winning. Congratulations to all the guys that figured it out. Mizzle says, if you get to 60% win clip against the spread at the end of the year, you're in the top 1% of all cappers. Just saying, winning 60% is insane. There will always be losses. Thank you, Mizzles. Yes, misses are part of the metric. And by the end of the football year, I am always at 60%. I'm grateful, and I know that we do above 65% during bowl season and championship weeks. I just know the teams. I know what I'm doing. Last year, we get to 60%, and I had 2 weeks back-to-back at 37%. We haven't had a single week at 37%. Last year, I had 2 of them back-to-back. You know how many MVPs left when you go 37%? That's why when people ask me, Rico, what are you betting on these games? How much did you lose? How much did you bet? I'm like, I'm betting my reputation, and trust me, when I get a bet wrong, I lose more money than you. When I get a bet wrong, I lose more money than you. I lose it in the form of MVPs. I lose it in the form of subscriptions. And when I get a bet right, no new people show up. That's not how it works. Nobody gets excited and goes, oh my God, he got that right, I'm joining. It's not how it works. So even when I get it right, all I do is sustain my memberships and my people. And when I get it wrong, I lose people. I don't worry about it. You can't lose what you never had. I don't even know. There's very few times when I miss a bet and I go check the Patreon and I see an MVP quit following the page. Very few times is it a name that I know. And I try to know all the MVPs. I try to interact with. If you're not on the Discord and you're not interacting with me and you're not really watching all the content and digesting it all, you don't care about your money. You don't want to win. You're not a part of this. And this platform, I don't really need any individual person other than myself and the beautiful Kim Jones. So more power to you if you want to go elsewhere. It's no hard feelings. You just don't have to announce it to the room that you're leaving. Like, I never knew you were here. So sometimes people will come to the Discord and be like, this guy doesn't know shit, I'm leaving. It's like, dude, just go. Just go. You don't have to announce you're leaving. You ever been in a restaurant, you don't like the food? You just get up and you leave and you never come back. You don't have to announce to everybody there, this food's shit. Oh my God, I just ordered this, it sucked. You don't do that. It's almost inhumane. I don't know, uncivilized. Nonetheless, thanks for being MVPs. We'll get after it this week. We'll keep winning. Shout out to the MVPs who win a lot of money. I know who they are. They're always on the Discord. They're always in the chat. They're always on the channel. And the reason they're up so much is because they're all engaged. They're all engaged and they understand. And they know how to read the inflection of my voice. That's really important. The amount of enthusiasm I have in certain picks versus others, that should tell you why you need to bet on certain games. It's imperative that you pay attention to my mannerisms and what we're doing. And if you're like, I just want the chart, I don't give a fuck what this guy's talking about, I just want the chart, you need to get off the page and get away from me. This is a platform. It is not just a page for picks. I literally provide podcast videos, analysis. I do transfer portal analysis. I do rankings and stuff. And now, like, I just do everything that helps educate you as a gambler to know college football better. I want you to think about how much you knew about college football before you met me and how much you know when you're done and after. And if there's any improvement, that's what I'm here for. And if you're not a part of that movement and you don't want to increase your knowledge, I don't really rock with you either, bro. I wouldn't dap you up if I saw you in public. I wouldn't know who the fuck you are. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Good luck, y'all. I'll see you guys later.